Hello, I am back with a new video and I'm very excited about this video. Let me go ahead and flip on the switch for more lighting. But I'm very excited about this video because I am doing a review of my 2025 planner lineup, and I will also be introducing what I'll be using in 2026. Now I know I'm making this video quite late, but technically we are still in planner season. Now September is, I feel like, stationery madness. It's Hobonichi season, it's fountain pen show, it's stationery, it's planner boutiques. I mean, everything seems to come out in September. Hence why I'm doing this video. Now, I feel like a lot of people on the internet have already put out their videos and everything, which I'm fine with, because I'm like, it's like we literally have 4 months left of the year, and like doing this like 4 months left, that's literally, it's almost like half a year, or at least 1/4 of the year left. But to be honest, I don't think anything is going to be changing anytime soon, especially not in the next 3 months to come. So I decided, you know what, let's just do it. Let me just, go and, get it started. Now, I have used a lot less than I thought I would. I think I'm missing a traveler's journal. Let me go ahead and get it really quick. This is my traveler's journal. I was going to use this year as a junk journal, and I did not touch it. If you can see, like, the pages are literally empty. And it is what it is. To be honest, I just didn't have time for it, but also I don't have the habit of junk journaling. I just don't. As you can see, I think I realized I'm like a plainer person than I realized, and so, it is what it is. It's fine. But I still really love this. I still really adore it. I think it's taken me a minute. Okay, here we go. I still really love it. I still really adore it. And I so definitely want to find a purpose for this. I do use it when I travel, but I haven't traveled in quite a bit, just because of personal reasons. So this has just been completely, I haven't used it. But nonetheless, what I've been using is mainly Hobonichi. Actually, I think it's the only thing I've been using. I did start a Notion in the beginning of the year, and I just, I don't know what it is, but I was working and figuring out Notion and then planning and then having a Hobonichi all at the same time didn't work. So I just ended up sticking to Hobonichi only. So what I have is, I actually have the first half of the year here, and then this is the second half of the year, and this is how I divided them. And it was overall quite successful, but I'm gonna actually do the Hobonichis last. The first I'm gonna do is my Commonplace. This is a Kimbor 2025 daily planner in the A5 size. Absolutely love this. This actually really worked out for me. I think you can do this with any dated planner, especially a daily dated planner. I use this to sort of catalog a lot of my notes, very similar to a catch-all. I use the index as where I would write the pages, and then I would go in and I'd fill in with the notes that I had. Now, I do think A5 is a little bit on the bigger side for this. I feel like you have to sit on the desk and do it, but I absolutely love this Kimbor. It held up really well. The fountain pen ink did not smudge, so this is fountain pen ink. And it's very a neat system. I have no complaints. If you're looking for if you want to try a daily planner, I highly recommend a Kimbor. Is the quality super amazing? I mean, the one problem that I have is definitely the binding. It's not the most amazing binding in the whole wide world, but nonetheless, I'm going to use this till I fill out the entire thing. And I think that, I still have a lot of notes that I need to catch up on, but I will be using this for multiple years, which I didn't know I was going to do, but it has really like compacted my Commonplace system. The next that is an off is actually a Moleskine notebook. I was going to use this to sketch every day. I do not sketch every day, and I think one thing for certain is that this was like just too big to go with me places, and so I most of the time just left it at home, and because of that I just could not practice as much as I wanted to when it came to sketching. I'm gonna give this again another shot for next year, but I think I just have to figure out a different notebook style. I love this though. I think Moleskine this is fountain pen ink. This is actually Mont Blanc in toffee brown, and it kind of like it reacts quite weirdly with the Moleskine paper, but nonetheless, I think this is a large, or maybe I think this is a large Moleskine, but yeah, it completely fell off. It just did not work. It didn't work. I got to think of something else, but I still love the notebook. I still really, really like it, so I'm gonna give that another shot for 2026. Next is the Hobonichis. Now, the Hobonichis are by far the most successful planners I've ever used. I think that I don't think I'll ever find like a decent replacement for a Hobonichi, which is a lot for me. I've been using planners for like a decade now, and I've like tried everything under the sun, it feels like. And Hobonichis have by far been the most successful for me. And I think one thing for sure is that my knowledge of like productivity and planning has also like been a factor, hence why I got these Hobonichis. And the second thing is that I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm like more malleable, if that makes sense. So I'm willing to sort of like figure it out. Nonetheless, what I have here is these are the two freebies that came with the Hobonichi. Yes, they just happen to both be the same, which is great. But these were actually supposed to be my health planners. I'll get to like the details in a minute. The next are the Hobonichi Techo. Let me see. Yeah, it's a Hobonichi Techo in the A6 size. And these are Avex. And these are my memory keepers, or my journalers, and I love these. I do love these. These are really, 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 really good. But I wasn't consistent. Well, actually, I'll go into the details later. And last are Hobonichi Cousins in the A5 size, and they're also Avex. So this is first half of the year, this is the second half of the year. I have wrapped them in decorative paper. And these are also like fantastic. I just really, really love these. These are just absolutely amazing. These are absolutely amazing. So let me go ahead and open these up one step at a time. So the first half of the year, second half of the year, right? Or is this the second half of the year? Let me double check. This is the second half. So first half of the year, second half of the year. Now, I am trying to lose weight towards the end of the year. So what I wanted was a health planner for 2025. And I originally was going to do it in this, but it didn't work out. So if you look at the monthlies, this was that. And it's too messy. It's too messy, and it's not as accurate as I want it to be. And so I was like, you know what? I have these extra notebooks. I might as well just use them for that. So what I originally did was started, experimenting maybe with recipes, maybe with calorie counting. And what I sort of agreed upon was like a monthly overview of like my weight, my calorie intake, what were my goals. And then I went into counting calories. And I actually did this for a good 3 or 4 months, and it worked but it was extremely like tedious to do. I felt like almost exhausted every time I did this. And you know, and I also like, there's a lot of things like I've never consistently lost weight before, so it's always been a struggle for me. My body has a hard time losing weight, or I'm not doing things correctly, and I'm still like figuring it out. But one of the discoveries that I had was doing 8,000 steps or 10,000 steps a day. And that helped a lot. That was like the first time where I started like losing weight. So these are like the initial like YouTube notes, you know, calorie counter trackers. So I did a lot of experimenting here, and it was a really good freebie book. But as I got towards the middle of the year, I very much fell off, and I know it's because like this sits on my desk. I'm not gonna lie to you, A6 is wonderful, but for me it's not as portable, and I feel like if I do need to track calories and stuff like that, I need something that's a little bit easier. But I still love this idea. I really love this health planner, even so that I just did it for the next 6 months as well. And for this, I didn't really do much as tracking calories, but what I did was I tried to focus on steps. Steps and intermediate fasting. So I eat starting at 12 and I stop at 8 o'clock, and that has also been like a really great way for me to sort of start losing weight as well. And when I started doing those things, those two things together, that's what started working. So this is like sort of still in progress. As you can see, the majority of it is like empty. That's because of like I stopped with the calorie tracking and I just went with intermediate fasting. But I'm still tracking my steps, and I actually have to redo my measurements for this month. But I really like this. It was really nice. I'm so glad that Hobonichi sent freebies. I was like so happy. I was like, oh my god, this is wonderful. And I really love both of these notebooks. The next is the actual journals. I did like tab it, and I also like made this cover. This is the first half of the year, and this is the second. So with the first half of the year, you know, I did a period tracker. I did, you know, tracking habits, and, you know, I did screen tracker. One of like the most effective spreads for me was definitely the screen tracker. That's also what I really love about the Avec. They give you extra index pages. So, and then once I got into the monthlies, I used them as an exercise tracker. So I tracked my weight, I tracked my, you know, my reps at the gym. You know, did I exercise that day? Did I not? And that fell off. The problem I had with this setup is that it's not as accurate as I want it to be, and also I don't take this to the gym, which I think like in the future I do have to take something to the gym. If I don't, I don't remember. Like I'm like at the gym, when I leave the gym, it's over. So for the monthlies, it kind of like by the time I got to June, completely fell off. As for the dailies, I was quite consistent with journaling just about every day. I feel like the A6 size is just a really good synopsis. Like it's enough room for like a synopsis of the day. If you want to journal more, I would not recommend an A6 size. I think you need to like go up one sort of page size, I guess you could say, or notebook size. But I love this as a quick synopsis of the day. And there's times where like I need more. So if I need more, what I do is I just tip in a additional page of scrap paper, and that worked really well for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this notebook. But you know, days that I didn't have anything to write, I would draw, and it's just been really nice for me. I'm okay with missing pages. I'm okay. There's some days where you're just like bored. You're boring, nothing's really working for you. But for me, like, as you can see also, I didn't use a lot of ephemera or anything. And that is because I just really need a place to like empty out my thoughts, empty out my feelings, you know, nothing special in any case. And that has been like such a relief for me. Just like sitting down and writing is just like I rediscovered the wonderfulness of doing that. So yeah, I mean, it's been really good. This is the first 6 months. So I think I did a really good job in the first 6 months. And as for the pages that like are empty, I would go back and I just fill in with whatever I'm feeling, and I just redate the page. So, you know, nothing's really going to waste here. But yeah, very wonderful. I loved it. And so much so that I've continued here. Most definitely. I do journal prompts. I did do a video about like how I do journal prompts now, just because I have a lot of like mundane days, especially in the dailies. So from the beginning of this book, again, period tracker, I have like a little envelope thingy here. So that's nice. And then this I've actually left empty at the end of I wouldn't say the year, but at the end of every couple of months, I would go and I would just look through the pages and I'd put the topics here. But I haven't gotten around to doing that, which is okay. And then, yeah, I've left the extra indexes empty just because if there's no purpose for it, I told myself, you know, it's fine. It's okay not to have everything filled up. My monthlies are my biggest development from the first 6 months to the next 6 months. And that is because I watched a video about as many ones as possible, or like some other, gosh, I don't know what it is, but it was like sort of a productivity video. And one of the things he would journal every day was this. And, you know, I was like, I really want to do that too, but I don't know where to do it. So I wasn't using the monthlies anymore from the first 6 months. So I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and develop this a little bit. And that's what I did. So every day from my sort of A5 like productivity planner, I would actually like, you know, go through my planner and be like, okay, what was I successful at? And then I would go, okay, I went to the gym, I cleaned, I did this, and I would write those wins every single day. And every day that I wasn't like, I didn't catalog or I wasn't successful, then I would fill it with a highlighted box. So these highlighted boxes are missed days. And then on the side, I would put a sort of calendar, I wouldn't say a calendar, but like a graph, or not a graph, a chart. I would put a chart of like the wins that I actually had. So as you can see, you know, I would fill those dots and like fill them here, and that has been extremely successful for me. And you know, this was a 50% win month and this was a 61. So I can see that I'm improving every single month when it comes to the things that I want to accomplish. And that has been like such a game changer to my confidence. As you can see, like compared to the month before, the amount of wins just like almost like doubled in size. And so that's really amazing. And this is September and we're not in September yet. So it's like one of my greatest discoveries was this. And then of course, going to the daily pages, we have the same journaling setup. I didn't know I missed journaling so much till I started journaling in these Hobonichi A6, and I really love daily pages. I know that some people find daily pages overwhelming. I need daily pages. I realized that if I don't have daily pages, I will never be successful. If I don't have daily pages, I'll never be able to have the satisfaction of conquering my day. And so this has been like such a revelation for me, just getting these Hobonichi daily planners. Amazing. So this is the first half of the year, second half of the year, A6, Hobonichi Techo, and these are my journals. I don't think I mentioned that before, so I'm mentioning it now. The next is the beef. These are A5 Hobonichi Cousin planners, and I use this as like my catch-all. First half of the year, these are Avex, by the way. This is the first half of the year, the second half of the year. I'm still in the second half of the year. They haven't grown very much because I haven't pasted anything, and that's, you know, with all of these planners. I realize that I'm not somebody who uses ephemera. So the first, you know, the overall calendar is my cross-off calendar. And, you know, I have my pocket here with a little key for my cross-off calendar. I originally used this as tasks. And as I got towards the end, well, it's pretty amazing. But what I noticed is that I just don't keep up with this. And so that's why it looks the way it looks. It's like quite empty and bare. And for my monthlies, I used it as a regular monthly calendar. So, you know, I, you know, filled out special dates, you know, things that were going on. They're pretty empty, pretty bare, but they, you know, they do what I tell them to do. Basically, it works for me because it just has everything I need to look at. Pretty straightforward. And I just kept that going. And this is where I started experimenting with that as many wins a month. This month in June, I didn't have a lot going on, so I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. And I loved it so much, hence why it's in the A6 size, because I still needed like an overview calendar. Absolutely love it. Absolutely worked for me. This is July, so it's over there. These are the weeklies. I love the weeklies. I really do. The one problem is that I just fell off. Like when I was going throughout the year, I just fell off for some reason. And I think it's because I've been working, and what I used the weeklies originally for was journaling. These are journaling for like work-related things, I guess you can say. So I kept that up for about a month. Yeah, and then when I got to February, I fell off just because I was so busy. And, you know, I experimented a few ways of doing things, but eventually I was like, you know what? If I can't get to it, I can't get to it. It's okay. And I think that's what happens with the daily planner. Your weeks become a little bit, you know, it's just hard to give energy to the weeks, but I still really love this. I experimented with a lot of different layouts. I loved how I spent time just figuring it out. This was like another latest discovery, like really going back to using the timeline. I use this as a log of my day. You know, what I did, was I productive? What did I accomplish? And just seeing how I'm using my time, you know, when I wake up, when I go to sleep. Those were like another really important discovery as I was experimenting with it, with the week's layout. I think that's like one of the best things about the Hobonichi Cousins is that you have the room and the space to experiment. And that's like something I absolutely adored with the Hobonichi Cousin. When I went to the daily pages, I also started experimenting with my daily pages, and you know, I did some journaling the daily pages. I did a lot of productivity. I tried to use the schedule. You know, some things were successful, some things were not successful. One thing is I would do a monthly overview in the beginning of the month, and then I would do like a goals for the month and then a reflections for the month. And I did this till I think February. And yeah, I just kept experimenting. You know, this is another experiment. I would draw sometimes. And then I think once I got to March, I think I stopped doing it in March. Let me take a look. No, I kept doing it in March as well. So yeah, it's just like, yeah, I really enjoyed my time in this Hobonichi Cousin. I did start using the schedule as a drawing section because I wanted to draw every single day, kind of like how the Moleskine had drawing every single day. And it just gives you so much room to experiment. I did mock layouts, which was also like really fun. I got like to experiment a more like simpler layout. So where I did want to mention, I would sometimes, if I didn't have anything that needs to be done, I would do like journaling pages as well. So you can definitely use this as like a journal. Flipping through these pages is another experiment. This has developed further down the line in my planner. And I think what's also really nice about having a daily planner is that like in a week's planner, you have like 52 weeks to experiment with layouts and productivity. With a daily planner, you have 365 days to experiment with layouts and find like systems that work for you. And so, you know, what's also really nice about having like those 365 days is that you can see the progression. And like as we like go to the second half of the year, like I thoroughly can say that having 6 months of like, I'm not gonna lie to you, this first 6 months was an experiment. Like it's my first time using like a daily planner like this. And you know, I thoroughly realize that I do need to experiment a little bit to get to a sort of comfortable process. And so this is like a lot of those experimentations. These are layouts, that's as many wins as possible, you know, morning routine. As you can see, like later down the line, it will develop into something a lot better. And this is like, this kept going for quite a bit. And then of course I did fall off a little bit in March because I was just so busy. I was kind of doing the same thing every day. But as you can see, this is another development page, and it just kept going for quite a bit like this. Yeah, I like experimented a lot, and it was a lot of it is like finding what works for you. I realized that like I needed a lot of time to figure out what worked for me, but just having the page there, knowing that I have a dedicated page to that day, just kind of was so relieving. And for me, like looking back at these pages, like it also helps me realize, like especially these empty pages, like times where things were going wrong. I do think that my planner in particular does reflect times in my life or in my months where my headspace wasn't there, because I realized that I use my planner when I have clear direction, and I don't use my planner when I don't have clear direction. And so I can see that as I flip through the pages, and I can remember those days. So that's what I really, really liked about this. And then this is towards the end. And another reason, like when I was purchasing Hobonichi for 2025, I realized, you know, I didn't get a cousin. I wanted to separate my experimentation, if that makes sense. So for the first 6 months, I knew it was going to be a mess. I knew the planning was going to be a mess, the organization was going to be a mess. I knew I wasn't going to really just, you know, get it down. So I kind of wanted to separate the experimentation, and then the last 6 months, I kind of wanted to really just get it down. I feel like that's exactly what happened. So if I look at, this is empty. Because I still have to, I'm doing the same thing as my Commonplace. I'm gonna go back, look through these pages, and then put the titles of every page into this like towards the end of the month, hopefully this month. The second is screen time tracker. Very good, works really well for me. And this is like, as you can see, my monthlies look tremendously cleaner than before. So if you look at the previous 6 months, I think, let me find an empty page. If you look at the monthly layout here and the monthly layout here, as you can see, they're like day and night. I have really like cleaned up my monthlies and went for a simpler style with like what I need to get done. And it's really been like, this is like been a go-to for me. So thankfully, like I've been able to like clean things up quite a bit. When I go to my weeklies, this is where I'm kind of like disappointed a little bit. My weeklies, I originally like was doing a good job with, but again, because there's so much time in the dailies, they fell off. They fell off a lot. And so I'm just like, you know what, it's okay. Now we know. Weeklies, we gotta find something else for. Nonetheless, compared to the previous 6 months, This is also a whole lot cleaner. So what I used to do is I used to do a goals for the month and a reflection for the month. Now I just do a reflection for the month. I take a sheet of like from the Hobonichi, I take a sheet from the Hobonichi A6 and I just paste it here. And I write down a reflection and I write down the days missed and my win rate. And that has been really effective for me. I have done a video of my monthly flip throughs in my Hobonichi and how they have progressed. But let's go to like, that's this. Has become my ideal layout. I have a work tasks, other tasks, log, as many ones as possible, and a schedule. This has become like my go-to layout. It has not changed in the past 3 months. It has been pretty perfect. And for the log, I do add a timeline on the side, and it has been like such a productive workhouse for me. Like my pages now hold every single thing I could possibly need for the day, and hence why my weeklies are so barren, because like the dailies have just been really, really, really effective for me. And we're still in 2025, so this is also like, you know, I'm super excited to continue this Hobonichi Cousin. I'm super excited to finish it out, and I just really love that I was able to experiment in 2 separate books, and it was just, I really love this. I don't know how to say it any other way. And that is like how it's going for the Hobonichi ecosystem. Now, what are my complaints about this? You know, what did go wrong? What went right? What was, you know, working? I definitely know that I need a daily planner. Like, it's a non-negotiable. I know that I need a journal, non-negotiable. I know I need a planner, non-negotiable. Planner, journal, health planner, you know, we're good. But this is where things kind of went kind of wrong for me. What I noticed about myself, I think in this planner, we can take a look. Let me see. This planner, I think, is a really good, I think August is a really good example of this. This is a really good page. So as you can see, the first half of the day, I do everything well. The second half of the day, the majority of the time, I don't log. And that is because I've noticed that an A5 size and, unusually enough, an A6 size for me are not portable. They're not gonna move with me when I go place to place. If I go to a cafe, if I go to a work sharing space, these aren't coming with me. Neither is this, neither is this. I realize that I need more portability. Another thing is that these separate books like this is the most annoying thing ever for me. This is a lot of paper. Now, of course, I'm putting them together, but if we took them one each, you know, I would have to put all of this in my bag. And like for you, that would be fine. For me, it's not fine. It's too much, it's too bulky, especially because I'm putting loose papers and stuff like that. It's kind of too much. So after much deliberation and after much thinking, I told myself, okay, what could I use that would be a really good, you know, a really good alternative to this? But I don't want an alternative at the same time. These Hobonichis were perfect for me. Literally perfect. They filled all of my boxes. They checked all my boxes, I should say. And so after much deliberation, I told myself, okay, there's got to be something I could do. You know, I just need like a Hobonichi that's smaller, but I don't want an A6 size because it's too small. You know, what would work? And so after much thinking and much deliberation, this is what I decided. This is what I decided. Now this is a traveler's notebook. This is the notebook I decided. Now I will do a separate unboxing video of this black traveler's. Actually, no, I'll unbox it now and then I'll do a setup video of Traveler's Journal. I actually will be doing a whole series of my Traveler's Journal because what I noticed is what I wanted is I just want the Hobonichi Cousin and the Hobonichi Techo and I want them portable. So what I'll be doing is I'll be literally bullet journaling, but I won't be bullet journaling. I will basically be taking the Hobonichi layouts and then just redrawing them in the traveler's journal notebook. That's it. Like that's the only thing I need for 2026. I have really just concluded that I have found planner peace. So this is what I'm going to be using. I think that it's like I can just basically replicate the Hobonichi Cousin in this, and I'll be okay. So let's go ahead and open it now, because this has been just sitting on my shelf for like the entire time. I did get it in black because I have a brown traveler's journal, and so I was like, oh, well, I don't have black. This is like the Hobonichi, not the traveler's journal, sort of like introduction. Then you open this. This is very exciting. I have yet to use a standard size traveler's journal, so this is pretty exciting. And then, ooh, I've got more stuff. Okay, I've got 2 elastic bands. I have more. Oh, care item. Care for leather items. I don't think I'll be ever using this, but I will keep it. I love like how leather patinas, so I'm gonna use and abuse, that's for sure. So this is the traveler's journal. Oh, it's nice. Oh, it smells like shoe leather. That's kind of what it reminds me of. As you can see, it's a black traveler's journal. It has a few dings here and there. Even when I touch it with my nails, it kind of like having a hard time. It's a very suede finish inside. And then of course it comes with a blank traveler's notebook. So this is what I'll be using for 2026. I'm very excited. This is actually, I think I have nonetheless, I will be doing a whole series on setting up this traveler's journal, because I will be making everything from scratch. So everything from the folders to the inserts to whatever accessories I decide, I will be literally doing all of it from scratch. It's nice, it's beautiful. I haven't used a traveler's notebook in standard size. I've only ever used this one from September Leather. I use this for like traveling abroad because it has a place for your boarding pass that I can fit in here. We shall see. But nonetheless, that is all for today's video. I think it was quite a long one, but I'm super excited, and I'm super like, this is gonna be an amazing build for me. And you know, I'm doing everything from scratch in this notebook. I'm gonna tell you now, I am not a big fan of bullet journaling. I've tried it before, and like the layouts and everything is quite exhausting. But I am confident I can replicate the Hobonichi in this. I'm confident that I can make things work.